Hey guys, what's up? And today we're going to be taking a look at my primary for the 2019 End War event, Prism version 2. The Longshot Stryfe has always held a special place in my heart for my first one, made a few years ago actually for Merge Masters 1 competition on Reddit. Luckily I've improved in my bodyworking abilities a lot since then, so this one is so much cleaner than this, but the spirit of the blaster has sort of remained the same over the years. So like I mentioned, this is the version 2. Originally I ran the first version at End War 1, however it had some damage via transportation back, so I decided to revamp this project into a V2 to make it usable again for this year's End War, as it was one of my favorite blasters of all time, and it was sort of just a shame to see it sit on the shelf and not actually get any game time. Going over the externals, this is obviously a Longshot Stryfe integration. The foregrip is made out of a cut-down recon barrel. I think overall it meshes together pretty well. The stock in the original was a worker version, however I decided to design and 3D print my own, so this is a modified version of a similar design that allows for a lot of stuff to fit in the stock. I'm going to be replacing these screws with thumb screws that just didn't have the right length of 632 screw in the hardware store when I went, so I got to order them, but they won't be here in time, so I figured I'll just live with the normal screw. I also put a rubber washer under there just to prevent it from scratching the paint. As you can see here, once you open it, there's a plethora of room for all sorts of batteries, electronics, or really whatever you want to put in here. This is a 1300 milliamp hour 3S battery, so it's quite beefy, and it fits in there very easily. I put a 9-volt in for the LED circuit, which I'll show off in a little bit, and then the wires for all the control board and things like that are also in here. I want to make one or two tweaks to this design after having used it for a bit, but I think it's pretty much ready to go, and I will upload it to my thingiverse page pretty soon. While on the topic of batteries, since I'm not using the original stock battery tray, I decided to still make it useful, and I put 2 switches here and the voltmeter, so I think it makes this nice sort of little control panel. The switch right next to it operates the voltmeter, as you can see there, and then this other switch turns on and off the LEDs inside the blaster. Further on the shell we have a motor cover. This is designed to sort of fit the theme of the Longshot with the slots and the fake bolts, matching those, and then the slots obviously for the front. But this allows for 180 size motors to be used in this blaster, as they would stick out quite a bit on the side. There are 2 main circuit loops running through this blaster, the first of which is the LED, which is set up basically with the strip up here, as you can see. This is an RGB LED strip, so it requires 4 wires. Originally it would be just detached right at the end of the strip with the controller. However, I had to extend it into the stock with these 4 wires running through this heat-shrinked tube, so that way I can have that in the stock and not have to worry about the controller in this tighter area and put it in the stock where I have tons of area. Also, because I'm replacing the LED source with, instead of the 3-pack of AA batteries, with a 9-volt, so I will be using the 2 wires here to a switch on the other side of the blaster, which will allow me to turn it on and off without having to open the stock every single time. The second loop is for the flywheel system itself. This is a DRS Gen 4 cage with 2 Neo Hellcat motors that I had set up last year, but I'm finally getting to use it now, which is good. It's running off of a 3S battery in the stock, a Dean's connector for quick disconnect in case I want to switch the cage in the future, like I've been doing with a lot of my more recent blasters. And then those go through the standard switch. This is a 21 amp Omron switch, so it should last quite a long time. And then if you notice here at the end, there's actually 2 sets of wires for both positive and negative. The second set is for the voltmeter, which is again on the other side of the blaster with the 2 switches. Speaking of the LEDs, they have this neat little remote that came with the system, which allows me to either pick a solid color if I want to rotate through, or there's all sorts of different pre-programmed modes which allow it to cycle through different colors, flash, and do other animations. So to get the look of this blaster aesthetically, after priming it and sanding it a whole bunch to get the shell to be extremely smooth, I went all the way down to about a 400 grit wet sand just to really make sure that the blaster was really shining. But I painted it off with a Rust-Oleum satin magenta, in case anyone wanted to use this color in a build. Then the black and white were hand painted on. and these decals in the 74 that you see on the other side are a white vinyl. Huge thank you to my cousin who actually helped me out with the vinyl decals. 111, 105, 126, 125, 96, 118, 115, 105, 138, 106. That gives us a high of 138, a low of 96, and an average of those 10 shots of 114 feet per second. That's right around where I'd expect this blaster to shoot. To be honest, the Neo Hellcats are a pretty beefy motor. However, the DRS cage is not a very high crush cage, so it sort of averages out into a good velocity for this HVZ game of under 130. The accuracy is to be determined. This is the first of... I bought 2 DRS cages a while ago. This is the first one I'm actually getting to use in a game. So we'll see how the canted cage performs with the HVZ hodgepodge of darts. Supposedly, the DRS cage is really good at putting a little spin on the dart, which is supposed to help accuracy, supposedly. But we will see after playing around with it. Overall, I'm incredibly happy with how this blaster came out. It's the centerpiece of my collection currently, and I can't wait to show it off at this year's FoamCon. So if you're there, come say hi. I have patches and stickers to give out this year at my booth, so come say hi. You can check out this blaster, and hopefully see you at the event. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video.